If you're a fan of shows like Downton Abbey or Bridgerton or The Gilded Age or any other kind of period like dramas or anything like that, you're probably already aware of the shifts that happened historically when it came to like dating versus courting, the precursor to dating, and so on. What you might not be familiar with is the view of how the move from courting to dating shifted the power dynamic when it came to mate selection. So, courting was something that happened where gentlemen would come to a lady's home and call on her formally there. Like her family might be there. They might meet up in the living room or in the foyer or in, like, whatever lounge area. And they might read together or play music or whatever. But basically, it gave women a lot of power because it brought the men had to come to their home, they had to overcome their fears and entertain these women. And in particular, the women could have several suitors coming to their home. Dating, however, flipped it. And part of the reason why dating even arose was because, one, people didn't have time to go courting, right? You're now working for a wage, which meant you got paid for your time. Two, because people were moving into the cities, right, and out of the rural areas and into these small quarters, in particular the tenement housing that's described in your textbook. If you saw that picture of the baby who's like in a cage hanging out of the window, that's because there was no space for that baby to exist inside of their flat or apartment in their housing. And so there wasn't a lot of space for things like courting. And so instead, people met out in public. Um, and that led to dating. And so maybe that sounds freeing, maybe that sounds liberating, but it caused some new restrictions or some new expectations for women. Okay. In particular, when it came to dating, like this historian Beth Bailey wrote, dating moved courtship out of the home and into the man's sphere. And that's because dating now created this new arena. On one end, men were now expected to take women out and show them a good time. And that would mean spending money or their wages, because for the most part, only um, men were making enough of a wage to be able to support more than one person. And so that meant that women felt this pressure to earn that good time, to be treated. Treating basically meant that a man was taking a woman out and buying her drinks and, covering all the bills. And so then we got this power dynamic where there's an exchange occurring and where men are paying and women are expected to exchange something in return. So it could be making sure that they look really attractive. Um, it could be making sure um, that the men feel appreciated, that their egos are stroked, that they have a great time, that the conversation is brilliant, right? And so they're like undergoing all of this like social etiquette and training as well in order to learn how to be a worthy date. Right. And so you can probably see the direction that this starts to go into when people feel like other people owe them something. Right. It's probably not a great dynamic.